What is going on, guys? This is my first ever official attempt at a podcast slash, you know, sports broadcasting video. Um, Something I needed to get out there and start practicing. So here's my first attempt at what I really want to talk about. As you can see with my shirt, I'm a big Raider fan, and everyone's been talking about the NFL season going on or coming up. The preseason games, all these big time trades. So I just wanted to get in and talk about it a little bit for a Raider fan perspective, because I know a lot of people talking about how bad our season's supposed to be and drafting Jimmy G or trading for Jimmy G or signing Jimmy G off the waivers was not a good move, and why we should have done this and this and this and this. And so I'm just here to spill my talk and discuss how I really think the Raiders season is going to go, and how I think additions of certain rookies and certain players really going to fit our scheme and help our team develop and actually really shine. I'm not going to say we're going to go out here, we're going to win a Super Bowl, but I really do believe we will have a better season than what most people will think and giving us credit for. I do think we can have a winning season, make a run at the wild card. I really do. Looking at this schedule earlier, there's truly 11, 9 to 10 games that are very winnable games. But a couple teams that I won't really, argue us winning will be with the two times we play the Chiefs, because we already know what the Chiefs is. Patrick Mahomes, they own our number. We have competitive games, but we just can't really get over the hump and actually win those games. So I do think those two games against the Chiefs, they are rivalry games, division rivalry games. So, they can go either way, really can go either way. It just depends how our season goes. And then obviously the Bills, I don't think they're one of those teams. They're like the Vikings, which is also another team on this list. I didn't put us on for a competitive, winnable game, because those are two really good regular season teams. Josh Allen had that one run a couple years ago where we all know he lost the coin flip and lost to Patrick Mahomes and was unable to played phenomenal, right? But last year in the playoffs didn't really look like that. But in the regular season, for the most part, we saw Josh Allen as a top 5, top 6 QB. So it's one of those games where I don't really see enough from us, especially because it's early. It's week 2, so I don't really know how it's going to go. That's another team I really just don't see us getting over the hump. The Miami Dolphins is another team on that list that just, how it is. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, what I'm saying? They're just so fast. They stretch the field out. It's so easy for them to get those yak yards and everything underneath that just turns into big plays. I don't know how our defense will react to that. I don't know how we're going to pick up, because we don't really have any elite corners. We do got some solid players, but I just don't think it's just too much speed for us to handle, especially being a younger team. And we got some older players on our team. Our DB's secondary is a little older. Got a couple young guys, Nate Hobbs, Meek Robertson, who could hopefully get some PT this year and just keep developing their game. And Trayvon Morig, it's another player I'm really looking for some big things. Let's see. And the Jets. The Jets is the only other team that genuinely I really don't think we're going to have to play phenomenal to get that win with everything we got and who we got. I think those are pretty much and what I just go through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 games that genuinely I don't think we have a chance to win. And not saying I don't have a chance to win, but like I said, we have to play perfect. We have to play phenomenal, and I don't know what we're going to get this year. But with those 11 other games, you got the Broncos. So you don't know what's going on over there. Yes, they got Sean Payton. Yes, they got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and all those guys. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know how they're going to perform. Russell Wilson's supposed to be on a downward spiral, right? He has to answer back. He has to have his bounce back year. So we will see what goes on with that. And then you have the Steelers, who same thing, phenomenal defense, but we just end up having the games are competitive. I said we have their number because realistically we should. We've sold last year. Derek Carr sold that game for us with 3 INTs in the second half. Nothing else much to say about that. We got the Green Bay Packers and the New England Patriots, two teams who don't really have an offensive identity with their QB position. Obviously, everyone wants Jordan Love to be that next franchise QB. We don't really know what's going to go on. I think first time starting QB is a really good chance for us to take that win. The Chargers. Chargers is one team that we always end up getting the number at least once. Usually it's a coin flip, really, who gets that second game. All the games are really competitive for the most part. Last year we were 1-1. Year before that we were 1-1 as well. But typically we at least still one of those games from the Chargers, so I'm expecting at least one of those. We got the Giants, the Lions, the Chargers again, the Colts, and the rest of our division games, I genuinely think we could easily, not easily, we obviously have to perform and our defenses play well, but we could easily have a 10-7 season, maybe slip in as a wild card, 9-8, whatever you want to do. Uh, but genuinely, I think our season's gonna be a lot better than what people are giving us credit for. But biggest moves, biggest what ifs, biggest question marks of this season and our off season is obviously we got Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, personally, best back in the league last year, and we obviously know what's going around. All these running backs not getting paid. It's a big old thing. People don't want to pay running backs. Saquon had to take a 1-year deal. They don't want to offer him nothing major, nothing crazy. But me personally, I think Josh Jacobs has just got that energy, got that juice. He's someone that doesn't want to. He likes contact, and I think he's really elevated his game since his rookie season. Because his rookie season, he went out there, rushed for 1,200 yards, and he missed 3 to 4 games because of his shoulder injury. But he was initially always trying to run somebody over, trying to do little old school type back things. And I really think he's developed his game to where now he's become a more agile athlete. And with that being said, now you start seeing him make people miss. Now you start seeing him outrun some defenders and make some big time runs. He never really got loose for 20, 30 yard runs last year. He had a couple, obviously, the game winner against Seattle, we can't forget that one. But I do think this is one of those guys, one of those players, especially in the situation we're in, unsure quarterback, not sure how Jimmy G's going to play out. The head coach, Josh McDaniels, he's on the hot seat. He's got to do something here. We can't tank. We can't have a terrible season or else he's going to be gone and out of here. So he's got to do what he's got to do to win. And I think offering that man his money, make him happy, make the people around him happy, make Max Crosby happy, make Davante Adams happy, make all these people happy, and make the job simply easier for Jimmy G and Josh McDaniels and Aiden O'Connell, whoever's going to be in that quarterback role this season. We already know Max Crosby was there the day Josh Jacobs was supposed to sign his contract extension, and they didn't go through with it. So, we already know what Josh Jacobs means to this team. We already know how Davante Adams feels about Josh Jacobs, and we just know that those were our two workhorses last year, Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs. They were the two main players we had. Josh Jacobs, 1,600 yards last year, first in the NFL, 12 touchdowns, which was fifth in the league, 340 carries was a workload, okay? Second in the NFL. And then he also topped that off with 53 receptions out the backfield.
Alright, as you guys can tell by the background of the video, my background has changed. I got a haircut, cut the little goatee I had going on in the first clip. And the reason for that was because my dogs actually interrupted that last clip that I was getting into. And then since then, I just haven't really gotten to it. And I kept pushing off finishing this video and completing my whole take until today. And then I realized that I really just needed, if it's something I wanted to do, I needed to get some practice in and just continue to develop my skills and improve my skills. So with that being said, talking about Josh Jacobs, obviously I believe he is underrated as a pass catching back, and I think his versatility has really grown and taken remarkable strides from his rookie year till now. And as you can tell from when I first recorded the video, the first 7-minute clip till now, Josh Jacobs just signed a 1-year extension, 1 year, $12 million contract. Very similar to Saquon Barkley's. You get extra, I believe I was reading $200,000, $250,000 in incentives based on how the season goes. So he's tied in with us. He's locked in, and based from Twitter and from what I've seen from reports and interviews that I've watched, he's excited. He's excited to finally get out there, and I'm excited to finally get out there because, like I said in the first video, guys like Max Crosby, Jimmy G, Davante Adams, Max Crosby specifically last year, they were 3 of the biggest superstars on our team last year. And, they wanted to stay together. They wanted someone like Josh Jacobs in the running back room and to be a leader of this young team. And one of the biggest things I liked about Josh Jacobs' first interview back was that he talked about he really was looking forward to earning respect of the new guys. The new rookies and the new vets and who just got signed back or just got signed this year. So I'm really excited for that energy that he's bringing. I'm very excited, very happy right now as a Raider fan. But one thing I really did want to talk about, because just today, Colin Cowherd had posted, or yesterday, Colin Cowherd had posted a video, posted on TikTok, and I had to see it. It was about my Raiders, and it was very similar to what I was talking about and to how I was getting into things. Obviously, talked about us having very good offensive weapons, from Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Jacoby Myers, Josh Jacobs, uh, and also having a very good, consistent edge rusher, as in someone like Max Crosby. Um, it's just good pieces you need to see. And having someone like Jimmy G, we're not expecting him to come in here and put up Derek Carr type numbers or better Derek Carr type numbers. We need someone who's capable. We need someone who's going to make the right decisions, someone who's not going to turn the ball over, and someone who's going to go out there and just be a game manager. That's all we need. And I feel like with our offensive-minded head coach, Josh McDaniels, really what we're doing is we're making a New England's offense 2.0. I wouldn't say San Francisco 2.0 because what they do is they're great at what they do, and I don't know if we've become that elite. Offensively with our O line, and we have a very very underrated offensive line. As in Colton Miller was the fifth highest rated offensive tackle this past year in PPF rating. And also, we had the ninth least amount of sacks in the league, which is very good to see. And obviously, one of the biggest issues with Derek Carr and Jimmy G was Derek Carr last year, he had a tendency to hold on to the ball too long. And, just having, he had the 29th worst time to throw speed last year, which was I believe a 2.97 or somewhere in that range, but he was 29th in the league, which is just something that's unacceptable. The elite tier of players, the Mahomes, the Rodgers, the quarterbacks like that, Allens, all those players are typically release the ball within 3 seconds, 3 steps, and the ball's coming out somewhere. So having an issue like that with Derek Carr last year really hurt us because the fact that we're holding onto the ball so damn long is just unacceptable. Especially in a very against good defenses like we see multiple times a year, like someone like the Chargers defense or going against the Niners. You hold on to the ball too long, you're gonna get sacked, you're gonna get lit up, or they're gonna be able to pressure you on the throw, and then comes out ugly. And it's just one of those things, one of those situations I'm glad we got a clean slate from. I don't think Derek Carr is a terrible quarterback, but I think you had a quarterback who wanted to be more hands-on with the offense and wanted to be more in charge of throwing it to where and making these reads and doing what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. And I think bringing in Jimmy G, you take a lot of that pressure off Josh McDaniels with being on the same page with the quarterback, because Jimmy G knows what he is. Say what you want about him not being the best, about his missed throw in the Super Bowl that costed him, about him being just poor in his time in San Francisco and him being carried. I think we have a high power enough offense to be able to do something like that. So this is a perfect fit for what he's got to do. We're not expecting him to go out there and throw the ball 30 yards down or 50 yards downfield and throw for 45 touchdowns this year. We want to run the ball. We want to get Josh Jacobs more involved. We want that guy to get involved and just have himself a career year. I hope Josh Jacobs takes even a more of an elite step this next year, because I really think that's exactly what he's going to do, especially with us not having a very secure number 2 running back. We have Zamir White, who didn't get a lot of good reps that I liked to see last year, and other than that, we just cut Damian Williams the other day, I believe. So we really don't have any depth. So Josh Jacobs is going to be taking a workload this year. But with that being said, it's going to be one of those offenses like Tom Brady in New England, like Peyton Manning in Denver, that you don't have to throw the ball very far. You just have to throw it to the right spots and just have to break down a defense. And I think with our young O-line finally growing, we added a few undrafted free agents who's supposed to maybe make some run on that O-line. But yeah, I really do think this is going to be one of those play action style offenses that just open everything else up with an elite run game, which I'm totally cool with. And one of the 2 things that I think is going to be very exciting to see this year is, one, drafting Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, tight end, in the second round. Because all quarterbacks want a security blanket. They want someone that they can trust and throw the ball to. Everyone's hearing it everywhere. They got the Mahomes and the Kelsey duo. You had Gronk and Brady, Hernandez and Brady. You had Julius Thomas and Peyton Manning for a little bit. Then you had Peyton Manning and Dallas Clark, and um, you had all these different Jimmy Graham and Drew Brees for a little bit. Dallas Goedert and Hurts, Mark Andrews and Lamar. Everybody wants a safety blanket and security blanket, and getting someone like Michael Mayer, who I believe is a more better, what's the word I'm looking for? Like certified run blocker, which is something that I needed to see out of Darren Waller that we didn't really get. Obviously we know Darren Waller is a receiver playing tight end, and he's elite at what he does. Ever since we signed him, he did have problems with drops and staying on the field consistently throughout the whole season. So I think that was a good move to really move off him, especially with the weapons that we had. If we could have got it all worked together, obviously we would have, but obviously it didn't work out, and I think it was the right time to move off of Darren Waller. But yeah, and then having someone like Michael Mayer who can come in here, who is a more elite version of Foster Moreau. Foster Moreau was a great run blocker last year. He was also great when he had chances to make plays. He didn't ask for the ball much, but when the ball was thrown his way, you could be damn sure he'd come down with it. Whenever he'd get mismatches, he would not miss his opportunities. And the couple games Darren Waller didn't play, he went out there and he showed that he can do great things. I'm not saying the same level of things, but he did great things with the reps he got. And I do think Michael Mayer is a better version of that. So with all that being put together, I think it's a great fit for what we want and what we need, and him being a true all-around tight end. And I'm looking forward to it. Because obviously we know how George Kittle gets in San Francisco. So having another, run blocker first type tight end, I think is just a great fit. I think it's a great fit. We haven't had one all-around tight end in a long time, so I'm looking very excited for this. And then also, two of the best blessings that Jimmy G's going to have this year is Davante Adams and Hunter Renfrow. Now, Hunter Renfrow, before we brought in Davante Adams, when we lost Henry Ruggs, when Darren Waller was down, the year we made the playoffs, he was getting double teamed in the red zone. They would put a safety was boxing him. Then you had the corner. It was just insane the attention he was getting, and it's because he was making everyone look silly. And it's just that. And he only went for, I believe, 1,100 yards. I think he had 100 receptions that year. But either way, that's when he got signed, got his money, got a little extension, 3-year extension, I believe, which I think is great because obviously we got him in the 6th round. He wasn't supposed to be anything. Last year he got a little injured. Derek Carr didn't really give him the ball enough, which I would have liked. But I think he's going to be turning in more to that Julian Edelman. He already was, but you know what I'm saying. He's going to be playing more of that Julian Edelman type role in this Josh McDaniels offense. And that what Wes Welker did, and for Peyton and all these guys. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great fit, and obviously, undoubtedly, the number 1 receiver in the NFL, Davante Adams, the best route runner in the league. Jimmy G's never had an elite weapon like this, so I'm interested to see what he can do for him. Just to have someone that could bail you out. Just because he's just that good. He's just like that. You know what I'm saying? He's going to come down with the ball. He's going to get open. They can't, you know what I'm saying? If they don't double team him, it's going to give someone else a shot to get open, and I'm looking forward to it. I really do think this offense is going to blossom, and we really do have a chance to really make a run for in the playoffs. Obviously, everything has to come together. Everything has to do what is expected, and our defense has to play. But one of our biggest issues with our defense last year was the fact that Derek Carr didn't help our defense at all throughout the entire season. He put our defense in a lot of bad situations with turnovers, not moving the ball, not being able to move the chains and extend drives, which forced our defense to be on the field more than what they wanted to. Our defense is out there. They're tired. They're young. Because our defense is not elite. It's not top 5. It's not top 10. Okay, which is exactly why, as a quarterback, you can't be putting your defense in a worse position to succeed. Max Crosby's out there getting double teamed the entire year. Most double teams in the year last year, I believe. And when that's going on, and he can't really do much because we have no other pass rusher step up. Young secondary that we had. As a QB, just want to be better. You want to make it easier for your team. You're supposed to lead that team, and I don't think Derek Carr did a very good job of that. There's a lot of times he could have ran the ball and got it on third down. Could have ran the ball when he was rolling out, get a couple easy yards, slide, get out of bounds, whatever. And he never did. He never wanted to run. He was scared to run. I heard talks about saying John Gruden, I guess, when he first got here, told him not to go doing that. But as a quarterback, you want someone who's fearless. And that dude threw so many passes off his back foot last year that I can't even count. And 95% of the time, all these INTs, bad throws, and all that stuff all came from him throwing off his back foot. But Derek Carr overall is just not a QB I want. I've tried to defend him for as long as I can, but I can't no more. He's very. I'm gonna say this: he's soft. He plays soft. He acts soft. Needs to toughen up. Needs to take one to the chin every once in a while. Very scared to get hit. And like I said, I was a Carr supporter for as long as I possibly can. But at this point, there's nothing else I can do. I just can't support that. So I'm glad we're moving in a different direction. I have seen Jimmy G actually run for more first downs than Derek Carr did last season, which is crazy to say because not only was Jimmy G hurt and missed out on half the season, but still, and it's crazy to say because Derek Carr is an athlete. He is a freakish athlete for how he looks. And he's actually pretty fast. He's actually had one of the fastest quarterback Madden ratings for speed in the last 4 years. Other than the Jacksons and the Fields and all those guys. All right. So one of the biggest issues, like I was talking about with Derek Carr, was his inability to move the ball in the second half, produce first downs, keep his offense on the field. And I will give some blame to Josh McDaniels, as I wish we would have ran the ball a little bit more. We got a little bit more run heavy in the second half to close out games. I want Josh Jacobs to be that closer. I want Josh Jacobs to be that type of guy. And last year, I don't think we did a very good job of that, as from Josh McDaniels' point of view. So I do hope we become more of a letting Josh Jacobs close out games, because obviously us trying to throw the ball and make Derek Carr be our closer was not working out for us. But obviously a lot of guys were talking about our defense and how it's not that great, and our defense is the reason we're never going to be good. Okay, last year alone, Derek Carr costed us 5 games individually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 games. Derek Carr costed us 5 games last year, which could have resulted in us getting in the wild card, slipping in as the number 2 team in our division, I believe, if all these games go our way. But just to start it out, week 1 last year, Derek Carr goes out there. We lose 24-19 to the Chargers. He goes out there, those 3 INTs, 2 of which are in the second half. Okay, Devontae Adams went out there. I believe he had 11 catches for 130 yards or something. It's something ridiculous. He was going absolutely insane, just cooking everybody. Max Crosby was getting active. Josh Jacobs was getting involved. And it's just not something you want to see. Okay, because that's a divisional game. Start off the year 1-0 instead of 0-1 is a huge, huge deal. All right. Week 2, you got Arizona. All right. Kyler Murray before he got hurt. All right. Listen, Kyler Murray is elite. Okay, but what he did should have never happened. All right. Week 2 versus Arizona. Obviously, I believe we're up 21-0, 24-0, and they come back tied up. They take the lead by 3 with about 30 seconds left, and then up until that last drive, Derek Carr, the last drive to kick a field goal from Carlson to go into OT, Derek Carr only had 4 completions. 4 completions in the entire second half, and we scored 0 points up until that last 30 seconds of the game. 0. And everyone's going to say, oh, your defense did that. There's no way you could score 0 points in the second half. Or scratch that. 4 completions in the second half is ridiculous. 4 completions in the second half is ridiculous. Yes, maybe I would have liked to seen Josh Jacobs get the ball more, touch it. That's what I mean. And, him be the closer. Let's ride him to this win, ride him to this victory. But we didn't do that, okay? And if we're choosing to go with Derek Carr to make these plays, then that's what we got to do. Okay, Week 9 versus Jacksonville, another game, up in the first half. Up, I believe we're up 2 possessions. I can't keep the number specifically, but I believe we're up 2 possessions, 10 points. 10 points or 14 points. I don't remember. And the entire second half, this was literally the uplifting moment of Trevor Lawrence's season last year, and the whole Jacksonville Jaguars team. If it wasn't for the Raiders loss, and the Raiders choke, and all this, I don't think Jacksonville would ever catch fire like that and put it together like they did. Because the week before, I believe Jacksonville got a big time win against somebody, and then they come in here, come back in the second half, they win, and then after that they just go on fire. I believe the only team they lost to in that last little stretch was to the Chiefs. And yeah, it's just unacceptable. In that second half alone, our offense scored 0 points. 0 points. Derek Carr didn't throw any picks, I don't believe, but Derek Carr is Derek Carr. I'm pretty sure he threw a bad throw and he missed somebody, or he had opportunity to run and he didn't. At this point, when there's so many offensive issues and they started with you before, or you've been the issue in the past, I'm going to start to say you're the issue in this situation. Again, I'm 100% say that we should ride it out with Josh Jacobs, get him the ball, let him be our closer. Josh Jacobs is that type of running back. He is that type of dude, and he loves to be that, to be relied on for those purposes and that reason. He just plays with different energy. So yes, I would like to see him touch the ball another 15 times in the second half for all I care. Whatever is going to get us his victory. But regardless, 0 points in the second half as a QB, unacceptable. And then he wasn't the only reason we lost, but the following week we go out there. I believe Derek Carr had 8 completions against New Orleans, and we get absolutely dogged on. We lost by, I believe, 21. Could have been more, but we got absolutely dogged on by Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton and them. Like, it was just absolutely terrible. I don't even want to speak on that. But another game, week 14 against the Rams. Again, up in the first half. Baker Mayfield just signed on the team 2 days prior. All right. Absolutely no reason we cost this one. Okay. We end up going boom. In the entire second half, Derek Carr, 1 completion, 3 points. We only got 1 field goal in the second half, and he only had 1 completion in the second half. We ended up losing to the game-winning touchdown Baker threw in the corner of the end zone. And listen, everyone's always hating on Derek Carr, our defense for that final play in the end zone. But, I mean, listen, it should have never been in that situation. Yes, you would like to see it call. You'd like to see it, cover 2 or safety over the top. Just anything where you don't give one-on-one throws like that, especially with how we were. But it is what it is. We got to move on from that. And with that being said, we ended up losing that game. Week 16 versus the Steelers. Obviously, in the second half alone, again, another first half lead. Couldn't close the game out. Okay. Yes, we're playing in the snow. Weather conditions weren't that good. Whatever. Derek Carr in the second half threw 3 INTs. 3 INTs in the second half. Can't do that. It's absolutely unacceptable. And those 5 games right there put us in a wild card spot at least. Guaranteed. Won't win our division because obviously, competing with the Chiefs. But we'd be up there for playoffs for a wild card spot. Could have possibly stole a spot from the Jaguars. Actually, did they win the division? Tennessee? I don't remember. But either way, I'm pretty sure we would have gotten there with the playoff spot, which is something you like to see. Obviously, I'm hoping and I'm expecting Jimmy G is not going to make these same type of mistakes that Derek Carr is making. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna simplify the offense, just like Shanahan was doing with these guys in San Francisco. Just gets the run game involved, opens up everything else, play action. You only got 2-3 reads, and just throw it out there. All right. And I do think Jimmy Garoppolo is more than capable of being a game manager and just handing the ball off and just boom, boom, boom. So, yeah, I genuinely do think this Raiders offense could really be a key contributor to how successful it is. It is the number one contributor to us being successful this year. But I do think that we can have an elite offense this year. It's going to be very run heavy, very run dominant. I hope Josh Jacobs has the best year of his career. And then I hope the Raiders come back and offer this man a 3-year, 4-year contract, whatever he wants, to make him happy and to make him stay and be ready for life. How y'all feel about some of the things I've said, and yeah, anything you'd like to see me talk about, any words of improvement, let me know. I'm always just trying to get better and perfect my craft from here on out. So I appreciate y'all for those who listen, and thank you.